Well, hello there. How are you doing? I am Michelle, and I am a Stamping Up independent demonstrator. I'm located in Pueblo, Colorado, where I do live classes as well as I do online classes as well. So, if you caught my online live class this week, or actually this previous week on Wednesday, you will have seen I did 5 cards that were based on the Them Bones suite, and I'm going to show you 3 others that are just a little bit more. One of them's quite a bit more done up, but it's still fairly. They're very easy to do, but they are going to be some different cards. These are not a part of the free class, but if you still want that free class, you can still order it by Tuesday at midnight Mountain Time, or right before midnight Mountain Time. Any orders that come in by the end of Tuesday will get that free card class. Otherwise, if you put in an order $35 or more before shipping and taxes after Tuesday, then you would get the new card class, which I'm still a little bit in the process of designing, but we are definitely getting there. So today is Sunday. I'm not going to be able to do it live with you today, so I'm now past Michelle talking to you in the future. Letting you know that I'm going to show you these cards and how to put them together, so you have other ways to use this suite. If you do decide to purchase some of it, it is a lot of fun, let me tell you. And if you happen to be in the Pueblo area on October 5th, I'm also teaching this class. It is limited to 15 people. But it is available as an in-person class as well on October 5th in the evening, and you can just drop me a message and I'll get you to the link where you can sign up for that at the Ethos here in Pueblo. All right, let's go ahead and get to the business of what we're here for today. So this is the designer series paper. We're going to be using 4 panels from this major one. So this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and each little section has some different designs, right? So we're going to use the cat and the houndstooth with the bats. We're going to use the boo in the center, and we're going to use this one. And then we're also going to be using some items that were die cut from this sheet. The skeletons, all of them, cats, dogs, and human, are going to be in use on these cards. And additionally, from this paper, the bits in between, I've cut some other items to dress up one of the skeletons. It's really fun. There's a lot of opportunity to play with that. So when I wanted black, I used this side, and when I didn't want black, I used that side. And there's lots of space in there between all of these guys to use that to cut up and create some additional accessories and accoutrements for your little skeleton human. I wonder if it'd fit on the dog. Maybe we'll have to play a little bit. Oh, yeah. So there is that. This is the set we're using. We are using this stamp from this set and this stamp from this set and this guy. But if you wanted to use a different stamp set, you're certainly welcome to. And then these are some of the dies. These are the ones that I'm not currently using. Obviously, I used the skeleton for, and then the cat and dog. There's the dog and there's the cat skeleton shapes. But I'm also using this boo, this little cane, and probably not the bow, but the cane. This fedora, this bow, these shoes, and these bats in one of the cards. So those are the ones that we're working with today out of that set. And then this is the Tricks and Treats bundle. I'm not using any of the dies for this, but just in case you want to see what they look like, you can order this as a bundle too. We've got the haunted house, we've got the candy corn, we've got Frankenstein's lovely head, and then we have this lovely item here which makes a treat bag. I'll have to play around with that and maybe come up with one and do a little quick video on that for you sometime in the near future, especially since the paper pumpkin this month is not going to be, or was not, Halloween based like they frequently are. But I will be using none of the stamps from this set. Interesting. Wonder why I had this one out. Probably because of the last one. All right, so we're just using Bag of Bones today, but either one, I did use that other stamp set in the previous cards that we did. And so here's some of the little leftover bits from the cards that I've already made from just one sheet of that paper with the skeletons. So I've got some cats that have their skeletal parts, and then I also cut some out just of the negative space in the paper because cat silhouettes are interesting. And then there's some bits of human bones that were not solid, but I can use in other ways. And then here's one of the skeletal dogs as well. And of course, when they're white, you can always change their color with our blends, as I showed you in that video. And this is just some of the scraps left over from cutting those. And as you can see, I can use the bits and pieces for making or cutting out those other items and making those interesting, which you'll get to see better as we get through those cards today. Let me get those out of the way. Bring our little stamping mat with us and make sure I have all of the things I need. So our first card is using that big scene up top. And I've got the dog and the cat hanging out and some Happy Halloween that I just did a fancy, fussy, fun cut all around. And then the interior has the boo up top and a space for you to write your greeting. If you want to stamp a sentiment, you're certainly welcome to do that. It's your basic card base in Cajun Craze. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 for the card base. And I've got all my little bits, so let me put those aside for the moment, because what I need to do right now is cut my panel down to size. And for that, I'm going to need my paper trimmer, of course. And so I know that the next size down from this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So this panel needs to be just 4 by 5 1/4. And so I'm just going to kind of look. It looks like I took a little bit off of the top and the bottom. Yeah, it looks like I took a little bit off the top and the bottom, and then this side I left flush. And let's see, our interior, I believe, is going up and down, and it is. So I used the excess from this side of the paper to create that interior. So let's start there. We know this one needs to be 5 1/4, so I'm just going to line it up at 5 1/4. It makes it easy to get the one side measurement down first. And this way we know we've got this exactly how we want that. All right, and then I need this to be 4. So it is currently about 4 3/8. So I'm going to take it down just a little bit on the top. Maybe try and get that one bat off, but preserve the other bat mostly off. There we go. So I'm just going to slice that, and that leaves me just a little bit more than 1/8. And then we need this way to be 4. Is that going to be good enough? Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. So I didn't want too much of the grass or graveyard to be gone. And then you can potentially use these little bits in other projects, but not required. And that's the only trimming I'm going to need to do for this card today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get that affix down to my black matte layer on the basic black. And just remember, every Wednesday I'm bringing you a live card class that you can actually receive the makings for the cards. And every Wednesday with a $35 purchase. And then when your purchase goes to $50, then you get an embellishment of some kind. And if it's over $150, of course, you should get those rewards yourself and not use the host code. And I will have that information in the description of this video. Assuming I can get there we go, adhesive that. Beautiful. Want to make sure I've got my sky going to the top of the card. Gonna stand up and get my angles down. And yep, I like that. Okay, now one thing I don't have, and I should, is my white piece that I did my Happy Halloween on. I don't think that's gonna work. Let me grab one real quick. There we go. All right, so now that we have this bit cut, let's see, where did I have that? Yep, I kept some of the bat, but I wanted more of the lower half. So let's go ahead and affix that down to the interior. And you can put this on a black matte layer too if you want. I chose not to this time. So in this case, I just want to make sure I'm really lined up well with that outside edge. And then I'm going to trim each end since I wanted a slightly different view of the end. I'm going to have to cut some off of each side. There we go. All nice and ready. And so you put it where you want it to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this is attached and the boo attached. There we go. Center it. It just is so much easier to center from a standing position. Yep, I think that's good. All right, and then we're going to get the boo on. This is just a fun set to play with. And again, you can matte both of these on a black layer too to help it stand out more if you want. That's totally up to you. And there is the interior of the card. And then I did that Happy Halloween in Cajun Craze. So let me find my Cajun Craze. There it is. Oh, I already had some white. Oops. All right. So if it's your first time using the stamp, make sure you stamp it off a time or two. Make sure you have it going in the right direction. Although since this isn't already attached to anything, it doesn't matter. All right. So I'm just going to stamp it down here in the corner a bit and hold it down to give it a little time for that ink to soak in a bit. Lift off and close my inky pad. Some of these I still need to get some chapstick on and get them a little loosened up some. Lubricated, there's the word. Because they're still a little tight, especially the newest ones from the Color Refresh and the new ink colors. But also the ones I have not used as much as others. All right, so let's go ahead and attach our dog and our cat. And as you can see, this is a more orange version instead of a more Cajun Craze version that's already on the card. I'm going to do dimensionals for those. And I can put a big one down for his body. And then a little mini for his head. I don't know why dogs are he's in my book, but apparently that's the way I think of them. All right, so I got him walking along, minding his business, doing his thing, and then we got the cat sitting on the fence going, "What are you doing?" Or maybe he's going, "How are you doing?" All right, one big one and the mini. There we go. Almost perfect. Take those backings off. And this guy I want sitting on the fence. So I'm just going to kind of line him up over here on this side. Close to the moon, but not occluding the moon. There we go. Hanging out, watching Mr. Dog. All right. So the way I did this is just kind of, haphazard a bit. So I started by creating an angle this way and then went up this way at an angle and then came down this way and out and in. Whoops, let's get it in screen here so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go in just a little bit further and a steep angle out and then kind of a straight but up and down and up. Literally any shape that seems right to you is going to be just fine. And then I did have a little pokey bit here. I don't know why. That's just what worked for me. Just don't want curved edges, really. That's the bit. All right, I think that's good enough. And there is no rhyme or reason, no perfect way to do it. Whatever way you do it is going to be perfect for you. All right. It doesn't need more than 2 dimensionals either, so I'm just going to put one on each side, one high, one low, and then make sure I have it in the right direction. And I don't want to completely block out my bats. I don't want to be too low on my fence. There you go. Like I said, pretty easy. It just involves a bit more of the paper. And I love having that boo on the inside. All right, that's our first card. Our second one uses both the houndstooth and the cat on top of the Creep It Real tombstone. And I have one of our little hounds either retrieving the bone for the human or maybe he's stealing it. I'm not sure. Maybe you should tell me what this one is doing. And then on the inside, I used some excess of that, what's the word? There was the one on the card we did yesterday that had some bones creating a pattern. There you go. I don't know if I actually provided any of that in here, so I may have to. There we go. I've got some right there to be my interior. All right, so this is a fairly easy card to do. We do need to get out our paper trimmer again because I need to separate these two. As long as I don't have any obvious one to the, actually, if I'm going to have an obvious one, I would rather it be a little blue on this because most of that's going to be covered up. So, yep, that works. So as you can see, I'm just literally going to be staggering it back and forth like that, and it covers up the excess color so I don't have to shave anything off, which I like. And I start with that 5.5 by 8.5 base scored at 4 1/4. And our basic black matte layer is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then this just is the 2 pieces cut apart, no specific measurements. And then my interior piece is going to be 5 by 3.5. And once again, if you really want, you can mount that also on black underneath if you want. It just really depends on how you like your cards. So let's go ahead and put our bony piece on the base of our interior bit. I'm going to line it up with the corner really good in the base, and then we'll run it across and cut off the excess just like that. And if you want an actual other kind of sentiment, I think the Creep It Real is basically the sentiment for this one. But you're welcome to stamp whatever additional sentiments you want, either interior or exterior. It's all good. Get our positioning up so we can make sure we're lining up well. Side to side, I'm good. Top to bottom, I'm good. Beautiful. And believe it or not, I really was not very good at this in the beginning of my card making learning. I had to figure it out. So I'm going to start with the houndstooth, the bat's houndstooth piece. Since that's going to go on the bottom, I just want to get it in position first. There we go. And I'm going to, I have a lot, and make sure I've got the extra blue side going to this, so it is actually underneath. So I just kind of getting around about 1/4 of an inch, which basically makes it an 1/8 inch on each edge. On the bottom and the right side. And then when I put the other one up, I'm going to do the same thing from the top and the left side, and then we'll have it offset like that. There we go. Whoops, put that extra glue right on there. Oops. There we go. All right. So here we are, about 1/4 or an 1/8 of an inch on the top and an 1/8 of an inch border on the left. And I like it. So I'm going to give it a nice little thing. Oh, I did use one from that one. It's a good thing I'm paying attention. I really like the idea of having some bats in there. So I'm going to get the bats out of this stamp set. And grab a block to put them on. And my black Memento ink. Although I'm not going to be able to do this perfect since I've already attached it. So I'm not going to do any stamping off on this one. I'll just accept it the way it is. So I'm going to kind of go up to the corner here. And maybe they're veering off. Part of the reason I wanted them veering off is I didn't want the cat to be having bats flying in front of it. And then I'll have these going this way. There we go. Uh-oh, I didn't silence that phone. Naughty me. So there we go. We got some bats doing their thing. And again, whatever you want, however you want it, that's what's going to make it the way it should be for you. All right, so if you want some of the bats flying off out of the sky like I had there, then just make sure and stamp it beforehand. And then we're going to place this on our card base. Oh dear. There we go. Get it lined up well. I'm going to have to silence that phone. Okay, so now, in order for this to work, I'm going to want to cut bits of this. So I'm not actually using this hand. And this was just a partial skeleton from that one sheet. There's certain ones that are not complete. and this was one of those. So I'm going to cut off the little hand and arm bone, and then I'm going to cut his legs off of the pelvis. This looks like how I did it. So just kind of get in there on the little black negative spaces, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Most of it's not even going to be seen. I did actually cut them even more apart, but I think I'm not going to on this one. Oh wait, that's right. I did use the hand because he's got the hand. He has the hand. All right, let me get this trimmed up there. All right, so, and then we need to give the dog a little bit of an open mouth right here. So very gently, I'm going to cut into the mouth, just a little slot, so that the hand can go in his mouth. I'm going to feed it into that slot and then flatten it down, pull it up a bit, and glue it in place. Let me make that just a little bit better. Come on. There we go. I'm going to get my Tombow glue. Oh, this one is not the good one right now. I have to unstick it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there over the cut line and part of the hand. And then looks like I did actually just fully glue him down anyways. So I'll get a little bit more glue, our Tombow multi-purpose glue, onto him. If you want him raised up, you're certainly welcome to do that. It doesn't take a whole lot. I'm going to use, I'm not sure where my offset tweezers are at the moment. I know I have them here, but now they've gone a little missing. So I'm going to grab it up with these tweezers and place him walking in front of the grave. And one thing I like about these is they actually have this little end here, which I can use to kind of press down the bits. And so there I actually have some glue coming out. So I'm going to pick it up with this little bit so I don't have any major glue ickies going on. And then I'm going to take the back of this and press it down so we have a nice good seal. And then I'm going to go ahead and have this guy, he's a little disorganized. Yeah, actually that's why I did it. I didn't like how it looked when I had him disassembled, so I'm just going to cut between those, the thigh bone and the leg bone. All right, get our glue going again. All right, we're going to give this one a little bit of a line and a little bit of glue there, and a little bit of glue there, and then the torso, a little bit of glue. There we go. And now we're going to, let's start with the torso, placing the torso. Looks like I've got him mostly kind of going off, but also right there on the edge where it's still partially in the grass. Just do a nice little press down, and then this leg I have going kind of like this. And again, if that doesn't work for you, put it down the way you want it. That's good, you know. Right now, his head is in parts unknown. So I kind of, the story I wrote in my head for this is the dog is going and retrieving his body parts and bringing him back so he can get himself back together. I know, it's kind of funny, but that's what I'm thinking. Down we go. And get a little too much glue on these guys, so I'm just taking the excess and getting it off. And then the thigh bone. Definitely too much glue on those. So if you have a precision needle bottle, you can actually be more precise with the amount of glue that you put down. Why are you being so stubborn? All right. So much extra glue, it's just not wanting to settle. There we go. All right. And there's our next card done. Woo! We'll get that over there so it can spend some more time drying. We'll flip this guy. And then our last card is called a missing middle card. And it looks like this. And this is one that I use all those fun bits on. And on the inside, we have that stamped. And then that's one of the fun bits. So, I'm definitely going to need my trimmer to give you your sizes for this. So this first bit is, I believe it's 4 1/4. Yes, 4 1/4 in width. And it is, let's open it up really good so I can see. It is 7 1/4 long. And then it is scored at, what is that? 1 3/4. Okay. And then this bottom piece for the basic black is 4 1/4 by, let's do it this way. By 1 3/4. And so that makes the designer's, I could have done it like with this. So here's all the bits. All the bits. Let's get some more here. Bits, bits, bits. So I've already done the cutting, but apparently I didn't do the, no, I did score. And then there's my white piece for the interior. And there's my white piece for that. All right, we are good. I'm going to get my bone folder and find my crease. And there it is. So I'm going to fold that top down and score my edge. I like to score it on both sides just because I like a nice, very firm score. So it folds and stays better. All right, so that top bit is getting this piece of designer series paper, which is 4 inches by 1 1/2. We're gonna put some glue on that. Oh, come on, there we go. And make sure our bats and moons and everything are going in the direction that we want. And just because this is such a small bit, I'm going to kind of do it from this side so that I can see better what's going on with the edges. All right, there we go. And then on our base piece, this is just the opposite side of that paper, and I liked it going long ways, and it is the same size as that. So 4 inches by 1 1/2. I'm going to glue it to that bottom panel, assuming I can get the glue to start doing its thing. There we go. Maybe. Come on. It's harder on this firm surface for some reason. It likes to be able to grab. All right, let's pull it that way. All right. Push up just a little bit. There we go. Down just a teeny bit. There we go. All right, now I'm going to firm it down, and that's going to be our bottom part of the panel. Okay. And then we've got 2 more pieces here. This is our basic black, and it is 4 1/4 by 2 1/4, and then a white piece, which is 4 1/8 by 2. All right, I think we can be done with our trimmer now. And in this case, you can stamp our skeleton, but I wanted to just go ahead and glue him down. And so this time, instead of using a white skeleton, I decided to use one of the colored skeletons, and I used the Tombow glue. Let's see if I can get smaller streams out. Doesn't take a whole lot. You just want it in strategic areas to hold it down better. And well, that's is that going to be covered up by my skeleton if I do it that way? No. All right. So there was a little bit of stuff on that one I wasn't happy with. And actually, I would rather grab him by his head for my alignment here. And I'm just going to have him kind of centered a little bit off of the base. And again, I'm going to tack him down in the little bits where there's glue. Make sure he stays put. Yay, I don't have a bunch of glue seeping out, which I do prefer not having glue seeping out. And then I had this guy hanging from his hand. So I liked having the more colored edge out, but you can, if you prefer it, have the dark edge out. And since he's more colorful, probably I'm just going to go ahead and do the dark edge out on this one. This one does not take much glue at all. Just like a little dot at the top. And the teeny little itty bitty dots down there. And then I'm going to take and put it in his hand. It's like he's conducting the Day of the Dead parade. And then I'm just going to snip off the end. Just like that. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive on the back of this and attach it to the layer. Because I have the most fiddly bits on where I want them. And there we go. Yep, nice. All right. And then I have my boo, my fedora. Let me get all my bits over here. Maybe if I did it this way. Bits, falling bits. There we go. Yeah, I think he's going to be a little more toned down than the first one, but if you want to get all Mardi Gras-ish, you certainly can. So I'm going to turn these bits over where I'm going to put the glues on them. And I'm going to put his hat, his shoes, and his bow tie on. I'll deal with the bats after I finish the interior. Okay. You can do it whichever way makes the most sense to you in timing. And again, it doesn't take a whole lot of the glue. Apparently there's some on the underside of that nail and it doesn't want to release. So I'm just going to put his little bow tie on right away. All right, give his hat some glue and his shoes. Wow, I'm having all kinds of fun, aren't I? And sometimes when you get a little too much glue, you can, and you have other pieces, literally just kind of do it that way. And this shoe goes on this foot. Uh-oh, I feel it. Nope, there it is. The other shoe is attached to my other nail. There we go. I'm just going to kind of line it up with his ankle bone and make sure none of his foot bones are peeking out. There we go. And I'm going to kind of goob that in there a little bit. Additional glue. And line that up with, again, his little ankle bones. And push that up just a teeny bit so that his big toe doesn't look like it's actually coming out of a hole in his shoe, although depending on how long he's been in the ground. And then I do kind of like it kind of off the back of the head a little bit for the fedora, kind of at a jaunty angle. He's a happy boy. And then we'll get a little bit of glue on our boo. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot. And so when you have a glue bottle that's happy to release glue, you just barely do pinches. Otherwise, it's way easy to get too much glue. All right. And so until we finish the interior, this is the last of the gluing. Actually, I think I'm going to put this at an angle. I don't know why, but I feel like I should. And so that's what I did. There is that. So let's stamp in our Memento ink our other sentiment besides the boo. But in order to get this right, I think, since it's not going to be difficult to do this correctly, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down first. Just because it's harder to get it lined up right than I think it is to do the than it is to get the stamp actually on the paper. All right, so it's going to end up being like this, and I personally push this out so it covers the white on this side. And now I know exactly the space that I'm working with for this sentiment. Eat, shriek, and be scary. Oh my goodness. Don't be scary. Unless you want to. And this guy clearly wants to. All right, up we go. Yay. Eat, shrink, and be scary. Or shriek and be scary. All right. Since we've got it that far, we might as well put dimensionals on each corner of this piece. Not that low. Go up a little higher, please. Thank you. Because this is the piece that's going to hold the whole card together. Without this piece, it doesn't work so good as a card. But it's been a lot of fun working with this set. We want to make sure we have this lined up exactly first before we go and do the attaching. We want this down, and then we want to make sure that we have this in the right direction. Oops, and then I lost my alignment really quickly. Let me get that back down here below. And I'm just going to, with this hand, hold it in place and make sure with this hand I'm getting this. Oh my goodness, it wasn't this hard the first time. There we go. We're covering the white, and we've got space up and bottom. All right, so now we're going to put just a teeny weeny bit of glue on each of these bats and get them stuck down onto the card. Oh my goodness. All right, this one I have, oops, going this way. Fly high, little bat. Fly high. And this one, again, I like flying at a bit of a jaunty angle here. And then we'll get a little bit of glue here on this last bat. There we go. Put our cap on. And we're going to put him right up in here above the boo. There we go. And I think I'm going to pull out the Cajun Craze and give us a little demon dog down below. Doesn't look very demonish with that smile on his face, but maybe he's a radioactive dog with all that glowing. All right, so there are our 3 extra special cards with some variety in the way we've prepared them. This one is pretty much mostly the same. Now, if you wanted to, you could also use a blender brush and add some light amount of blending of the Cajun Craze around the edges. That's another thing you could do to, change up this card just a little bit. But those are our 3 cards. Some other ways that you can use this set if you do choose to purchase it. And there are plenty of other ideas that are happily playing around in my head. And really, the cards that I did on Wednesday and the cards that I did today used 3 sheets of paper, and not even fully, out of those, what's the word, the pack. Well, technically 4, because these panels use 2 sheets. I had to use 2 of that one paper. I used one of the pages with the skeletons, and then I used 1 page with those other cards with the tombstones. So technically it was 4 sheets of paper out of a full pack of paper, which is pretty good considering that leaves 6 plus 2, so another 8 pages of paper to play with out of 1 pack of paper. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cards out of 4 sheets of paper. That's pretty good. All right. Well, everybody, this has been fun. I have enjoyed my time with you. Hopefully you love the cards. If you do, please let me know. Definitely leave me a comment if you have some other ideas or things that you would like to see with this. If you are following me on YouTube, I would love a subscribe and a thumbs up if you so enjoyed it. And certainly any hearts or likes on Facebook or comments there would be very much appreciated as well. Again, it's been an awesome time. I'm Michelle, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you out of Pueblo, Colorado. Have a fantastic afternoon.